Welcome back to the channel, and if you are new here, a very warm welcome to you. Today's book is one of the most direct, no-excuse books on achievement ever written, The 10X Rule by Grant Cardone. Grant Cardone is one of the most successful sales trainers and real estate investors in the world, but he did not start there. At 23, he was broke, directionless, and struggling with addiction. He transformed his life not through luck or connections, but through one radical idea: that everything he had been taught about how much effort success requires was wrong. Massively wrong. The 10X Rule has sold millions of copies and been used by entrepreneurs, sales teams, athletes, and leaders across every industry. Its message is uncomfortable for most people, and that is exactly why it works. In this video, we cover every key idea from the book, with real examples, clear explanations, and one powerful takeaway from each section that you can apply immediately. Let's get into it. Most people believe the biggest threat to their success is failure, so they build safety nets, they stay reasonable, they set goals they know they can reach without too much discomfort. But here is the insight that will flip that thinking completely. The greatest danger to your future is not that you will aim too high and miss, it is that you will aim too low and hit. Hitting a small target feels like progress, but it is the most comfortable way to waste a life. We have been told that if we work hard enough and stay sensible, things will work out. But in a world that is constantly changing and becoming more competitive, being average is not a safe middle ground. It is a slow decline. This book is about one idea: that most people dramatically underestimate what they are capable of and dramatically underestimate how much effort reaching that potential actually requires. The 10X Rule is the solution to both problems at once. Idea 1, the 10X Rule, what it actually means. The core idea of the book is simple to state and hard to truly accept. Whatever goal you are currently thinking about, multiply it by 10, and whatever effort you think it will take to reach that goal, multiply that by 10 as well. That is the 10X Rule. Now, most people hear this and think it sounds extreme, and Cardone would agree it is. That is the entire point. Here is why it works mathematically. Imagine you set a goal to make 10 sales calls to get one new client. If the market resists, which it almost always does, you end up making 6 calls and getting nothing. But if you applied 10 times thinking and set a goal of 100 calls, even if the market resists and you only complete 40, you have still outperformed every competitor who aimed for 10. 10x thinking builds what Cardone calls a margin of safety. It means that even your underperformance exceeds other people's best effort. Think of it like a pilot flying into a strong headwind. A plane fueled for the exact distance needed will crash when conditions change. A plane fueled with a large reserve makes it through anything. 10 times is your fuel reserve. Never reduce the target, increase the action. Key takeaway: set goals that are 10 times bigger than what feels comfortable. Then put in 10 times the effort you think it will take. This is not about working harder. It is about operating with a margin that absorbs every obstacle. Idea 2. The 4 levels of action. Where are you operating? Cardone identifies 4 distinct levels at which people operate. Most people have never had these named for them, but once you see them, you cannot unsee them. Level 1, doing nothing. These are people who are waiting for the right time. They have ideas, they have dreams. They talk about what they are going to do, but they are not moving. Time is their most valuable asset, and they are spending it on pause. Level 2, retreat. These people once tried. They got rejected, failed, or embarrassed, and they pulled back. Now they avoid anything that risks that pain again. They tell themselves they are being smart. In reality, they are being protected from the very experiences that would have built them. Level 3, normal action. This is the most dangerous level because it looks acceptable from the outside. These people show up, do their work, meet the minimum standard. They are not failing visibly, but they are not growing. They are doing exactly enough to stay where they are, which in a moving world means slowly falling behind. Level 4, massive action. This is the 10x zone. People operating here are not counting hours. They are measuring territory covered. They are making more calls, taking more meetings, producing more output, and creating more visibility than anyone else in their space. They are not waiting for permission or perfect conditions. They are moving. Cardone says you know you have entered massive action when you start creating new problems, because your output is now so high that the world has to respond to you. Key takeaway: honestly identify which level you are currently operating at. Then ask, what would level 4 look like in my specific situation? Start moving toward that immediately. Idea 3, why average is a dangerous place to live. Most of us were raised to aim for the middle. Get a stable job, save a reasonable amount. Don't take unnecessary risks, be sensible. Cardone challenges this directly, not to be provocative, but because the data supports it. When the 2008 financial crisis hit, it did not only hurt the poorest people, it devastated the middle, those with average savings, average jobs, and average financial buffers. They had followed the standard advice perfectly, and it was not enough when things went wrong. Average is built on the assumption that conditions will remain stable. They never do. Economies shift, industries disappear, companies downsize, health changes. The safe middle has no reserves for any of it. Beyond the practical risk, Cardone makes a deeper point. Society functions when people stay average. Average people are easier to manage, easier to market to, and less likely to disrupt the existing order. That is not a conspiracy, it is simply how systems work. But it means the pressure to stay average comes from everywhere. School, media, social norms, even well-meaning family, recognizing that pressure is the first step to resisting it. In an expanding universe, if you are not growing, you are already dying. Key takeaway: average is not a safe place, it is a vulnerable one. It has no margin for the unexpected. The only genuine security comes from building at a level that creates its own buffer. Idea 4. Fear is your green light, not a stop sign. We have been taught to treat fear as a signal that something is wrong, that we should slow down, reconsider, or wait until we feel ready. Cardone completely inverts this. In the 10x world, fear is not a warning, it is a compass. It points directly at the thing you most need to do. Here is why. Fear in the context of ambition is almost never about genuine danger. It is about the anticipation of discomfort, rejection, embarrassment, failure, judgment. These are not threats to your safety, they are simply uncomfortable, and discomfort is the price of every worthwhile outcome. Cardone also identifies something important about the relationship between fear and time. The longer you wait to do the thing you are afraid of, the larger it grows in your mind. The fear of making a call becomes bigger after an hour of delay than it was in the first 30 seconds. The fear of starting a project grows every day you postpone it. Fear feeds on time. The antidote is immediate action. Successful people do not wait for fear to disappear before they act. They act while the fear is still present, and the action itself dissolves it every time. Key takeaway: when you feel fear around a goal or action, that fear is telling you exactly where to go. Act immediately, before your mind has time to build the obstacle larger than it actually is. Idea 5. Domination, not competition. Own your space. Here is one of the most provocative ideas in the book, and one of the most practically useful once you understand what Cardone actually means. He says, stop trying to compete, start trying to dominate. When you compete, you are playing on someone else's terms. You are reacting to what your rivals do. You are fighting for the same customers, the same market, the same visibility. You are in a race where the finish line keeps moving. Domination means something different. It means becoming so present, so visible, and so valuable in your space that you are the first name people think of, not one option among several. Think about Apple. They did not simply want a competitive share of the smartphone market. They wanted to define what a smartphone was. They wanted to own the conversation so completely that every competitor would be described in relation to them. Your biggest problem right now is probably not your competition, it is your obscurity. If people do not know you exist, they cannot choose you. 10x thinking applied to visibility means showing up more, creating more, reaching more people, in more places, more consistently than anyone else in your field. This does not require the budget of Apple. It requires the commitment to show up at a level that others in your space are not willing to sustain. Key takeaway: do not fight for a slice of the pie. Become the person, brand, or business that people think of first in your space through consistent, massive, visible action. Idea 6. Radical responsibility. Everything is your problem to solve. This is the idea that most people resist the hardest, and the one that changes everything when they finally accept it. Cardone argues that to live at the 10x level, you must take full responsibility for everything in your life, not just the things you caused, everything. He uses a deliberately extreme example to make the point. If someone rear-ends your car, you can respond in one of two ways. The first is to blame them and be right, legally and morally. But in doing so, you hand all your power to someone else. You become a passive recipient of other people's mistakes. The second response is to ask, why was I in that spot at that time? Could I have left earlier? What can I do differently? This is not about false guilt. It is about keeping the power to respond in your own hands. Blame is emotionally satisfying and practically useless. It explains what happened. It changes nothing. Responsibility is sometimes uncomfortable and always empowering. It keeps you in the role of actor rather than audience in your own life. Cardone puts it simply, when you decide that everything in your life is your problem to solve, you gain the power to solve it. The moment you outsource responsibility to circumstances, other people, or bad luck, you also outsource your ability to change anything. Victims wait for luck. Leaders create results through massive action. Key takeaway, stop assigning blame. Even when you are right, every moment spent on blame is a moment not spent on solutions. Take ownership of everything, and you keep the power to change everything. Idea 7. Success is an ethical duty, not just a personal goal. This is the idea at the very heart of the book, and the one that separates the 10x philosophy from ordinary motivation. Cardone argues that success is not something you pursue for yourself. It is something you owe to the people around you and to the potential you were given. When you operate below your potential, it is not just a personal loss. Your family does not get the version of you that is fully alive and fully capable. The people you could have helped do not get helped. The problems you could have solved remain unsolved. The jobs you could have created are never created. Unfulfilled potential, Cardone says, is the greatest source of regret at the end of a life. Not the risks taken that did not work out, the risks never taken at all. This reframes the entire conversation about ambition. It is not selfish to want more. It is not arrogant to aim for extraordinary outcomes. Ambition, fully committed to and fully acted upon, is a contribution to your family, your community, and the world. The question is not whether you deserve success. The question is who is depending on you to reach it. Key takeaway. Success is not a luxury or a personal indulgence. It is a responsibility. When you play small, the people around you pay the price too. Play at your full level, for them as much as for yourself. Idea 8. The 90-day challenge, where the theory becomes reality. Every idea in this book is useless without this step. Cardone ends with a direct challenge, not a suggestion, not a recommendation, a challenge. Pick one area of your life, one goal, one specific outcome you want. Multiply the goal by 10. Multiply the effort you plan to put in by 10. Then do that consistently for the next 90 days. Not when conditions are right, not starting next Monday, now. 90 days is long enough to see real results and short enough to stay fully committed. It is the minimum window in which 10x action begins to compound into visible, measurable change. Cardone also suggests making your goal public, telling someone, writing it down, declaring it. Not because external accountability is the point, but because declaration is the first act of ownership. The moment you say it out loud, it becomes real. The moment it becomes real, the resistance begins, and the resistance is where the growth lives. If your dreams don't scare you a little, they are not big enough to change who you are. Key takeaway. Pick one goal, multiply it by 10, multiply your action by 10, commit to 90 days. This is where the philosophy stops being interesting and starts being transformational. And those are the key ideas from the 10x rule by Grant Cardone. The central message of this book is not comfortable. It is not designed to be. It is designed to show you the gap between where you are and what you are actually capable of, and then hand you the only tool that closes that gap: more action, aimed higher, sustained longer. You do not need to agree with everything Cardone says, but if even one idea from this video shifts the level at which you are operating, in your work, your relationships, your health, or your goals, then this video has done its job. Leave a comment below with your 10x goal, write it out, declare it. That is the first act of ownership. Share this video with someone who needs a push, someone who is capable of far more than they are currently doing and just needs a reminder of that. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please do so now. We break down the world's most powerful books on success and personal growth in exactly this format. Clear, honest, and built to give you maximum value in minimum time. Thank you for watching. Take care of yourself, keep pushing, and we wish you a very bright and very 10x future ahead. See you in the next one.